Hey there everybody, Mazrock here, and today we're going to have a little bit of a talk about the game and the channel and the content. Am I giving up tanking? Before we do get into it though, please do like, comment, subscribe. It goes such a long way towards helping out the channel. This is an early exclusive access video for my patrons, and there is already a queue of early access videos up there, exclusive content, lots of stuff on Patreon, lots of bonuses, and I'm always looking for new ideas. Go ahead, check that out. There's a Discord link down below, a Twitch link. I stream, come on by, check it out. And lastly, there is merch for sale. Blood Decay, I'm the healer now. Sad Bear, I'm a tank too, and I only do Dungeons Fully Erect as well as other stuff. And with that, let's get into it. Am I giving up tanking? You might have seen on my streams recently, I have a very geared evoker, a warlock that's climbing up the ranks, and now a fire mage that I have been working on stream relentlessly over the course of the last couple days. And if you've known my content for anything in a while, it's not one of those specs. It's been tanking. Because when I made this channel, I made it to provide the information that I felt was lacking within the community, because there's so many guides out there on how to play at the highest end. But the amount of people that play at the highest end versus who just needs the intermediate to beginners versions of how to get into X-Spec, how to get into Prot Warrior, how to, learn your buttons, how to get, the basics, right? It was very lacking. So that's what I built my channel around, playing all the tanks as much as I could. And at the time, I had a job. So I was doing part-time, and I was doing full-time, then part-time, and now I am full-time YouTube streaming and everything else. Partly because I got fired, but the YouTube streaming was already paying more than my part-time job anyway, so it was kind of like, yeah. That was the thing that happened about 2 months ago, and we're fine with it. But yeah, so when I was tanking and working, at work I was thinking about tanking, I was coming home, playing World of Warcraft, tanking, vice versa. And just keeping that rotation going, and that was great, but since I've been doing this full-time, it's kind of like when you eat pizza every single day. There's going to be a time where you're eventually going to get sick of it. And you might be that person that's going to put in the comments, oh, I'd never get sick of pizza. Well, if you do it, if you eat it 16 hours a day, there might be a time. It might be a week, it might be a month, it might be a couple of years. And I've been tanking regularly, for a long time. Since Shadowlands Season 1, I've pretty much done nothing but tank and dabble in some light DPS here and there for jokes and fun, but now I'm actually kind of playing some DPS specs a little bit more regularly. The Warlock's been a lot of fun, and I want to get into it, especially with how much I've been having fun with Affliction. I know it's not even the good Warlock spec, but I've been having a lot of fun with it and putting up some very competitive numbers. My Dragon, my Evoker, has already been in and timed some 20s and having fun there on its own merits, right? Fire Mage, well, that's a different story. That's going to be a work in progress. Fire Mage has been incredibly difficult to nail down that rotation and work in, but I've been having so much fun with that challenge that I want to keep playing it. This channel, like I said before, has been and will continue to be a primary form of all content, but my tanks are geared now. Every single one of them are 440 plus. I haven't hit all the goals with them, but we still have a few months of this patch before I have to hit those goals. And they're all hitting those goals kind of week after week. They're getting to where they need to be and doing the content that I want them to be doing. So you combine both of those things with the ease of gearing, because it has been an easy gearing, and the fact that this community also attracts a lot of tanks. Surprise, right? I'm a tank content creator. I get a lot of tanks, and a lot of people want to do keys with me. And it's like, all right, hey man, do you have a DPS spec? No, I tank. It's kind of hard to do keys with y'all if it's just a bunch of tanks. Although we do a bunch of all tank runs at the end of the season, though, so that's going to be a really fun stream. Catch that in the last week of the season, where we're just going to have a full day of all tank runs and see how high we can push. That was really fun last season, and I want to do that again this season, even with the magic dispels that are required in some of these things. But I just, it's fun. Why not? But yeah, so I am going to be doing more Evoker content, and Evoker was kind of the catalyst for me here, because I really enjoy support which is kind of why I like tanking so much, because I can support, right? Paladin, I can freedom, I can bop, I can spell ward, I can disease, I can dispel, you know, so many other things. I can just help. Everything has something to help. And that's kind of why I really like tanking. That and the tank queues are way quicker than DPS queues in getting into any sort of dungeon whatsoever. Although apparently now, it's not even apparently, if you're a healer, you can definitely get into a lot more queues that you probably shouldn't be into. Before it was tanks. Ran like, you know, you go look at the pug queue, it was like healer 3 DPS. All of Shadowlands. Nobody wanted to tank anything. Now it's tank and 3 DPS looking for a healer. That's much more common. And I don't know if I'm going to fully get into healing. Like, I started healing on the dragon, and I'm okay with it. And in a full group environment, I'd still do it, but I'm not going to actively queue as a healer for pugs. Like, that's fucking done. That's so done. But I've been having a lot of fun with the DPS specs, and the Augmentation Evoker was like, oh man, I want to play this. This is really, really fun. You have something to help healers, tanks, DPS, and just kind of really just have a blast, and I'm really, really looking forward to Augmentation, which got me playing Warlock a little bit more, which now got me into Fire Mage, and this is where I see the channel going. Just bring back fun to these things and go back to the basics. You know, like, I'm playing Aflock right now in a season where no one's playing Affliction almost. I have yet to see one in a key this season outside of me. Maybe one? Maybe one. But why not? It's fun. Doesn't care if it's meta or the best. I'm not pushing bleeding edge keys. I'm just having fun. Right? Is this something you guys want to see? This is primarily and always going to be, like I said before, a tank content channel. But I want to expand my horizons a little bit, and kind of go around. Also, to put all of my financial eggs in one basket is kind of dumb. I'm definitely throwing some interest in Ashes of Creation, in making, you know, and maybe a separate YouTube video for that as well, because that game looks insanely good. There's also another MMO that's got a little bit more going back to the old school hardcore ways of doing things that have a lot of very innovative MMO ideas as well that I really like. They're taking everything that's like progressive MMOs that they've liked and taking those and throwing them into like a more, you know, look at hardcore WoW, right, and how that's developed, going into something in that direction where, of course, you know, death isn't the end of the world, but it has consequences and things like that. And I'm thinking maybe that game as well, War of Dragonorax. That's the game I've been kind of interested as well in covering, but I'm going to be expanding my games. I'm going to be expanding my streams, because obviously this is something I want to do for a long time, and to put all of my eggs in one game, if something ever happens to WoW, like, I'd be fucked. You know, I have a family to support, and I can't do that, right? If I'm going to be doing this full-time, it needs to be with my full heart and commitment, and I think expanding that to DPS specs so I can play with you guys as tanks or whatever is a great way to go. This is like a little channel update. Wanted to give you guys a heads up. Want to talk to you guys. What do you guys think? Am I completely out of my mind? Was it a good idea? Are you excited for any of the games I just mentioned as well? Have yourself a good one. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Happy tanking.